Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for John and the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is also sponsored by High Point Access. Thank you to them for their support. They are your number one stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. If you mention the Blades Ramble when booking any works with them, you'll also get 10% off. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and I am buzzing. I hope you are too. It's been a very eventful day, certainly in my world, but also in the Sheffield United world. Started the day off while I was doing things in the background, which I'm sure you're aware of now, or most of you will be. Started the day off with Hamza Chowdhury being confirmed. That was this morning, weren't it? It seems like it's just, wow. So, oh no, Hamza Chowdhury got confirmed last night, didn't it, on the live stream? I remember Ian saying. So we got Hamza Chowdhury while we were doing the watch along on Behind the Ramble for the terrible Burnley Leeds game last night. What a brilliant result for Sheffield United, by the way. Did we get away with one against Hull or what? I mean, that goal difference is gone. So it's like a -3, isn't it, rather than -2 in terms of fighting against the other teams around us. But it's the best we could have hoped for in the circumstances. Apologies as well to our Patreons, because it was supposed to be a hot topic last night, and then we did the watch along instead, so we pushed it back. So, and obviously now there's been big news for Sheffield United today, so we're going live to everybody. We'll either push it back to tomorrow, but we've got the warm up tomorrow, and or we'll fit it in somewhere, because I want to make sure that you're getting what's promised to you. It'll be 3 Mardy Blades on Monday night as well. Loads to come in between. Because for those of you that haven't heard, I've just released the video this afternoon, and I am now going full time with the Ramble. So I've spoken about it a lot on there. I'll go into my reasonings and things like that a little bit more in detail, probably on Behind the Ramble, really, because it's probably one more for that sort of space. This is focused on Sheffield United content, but this is what this channel will be all about, obviously. Always going to be a Sheffield United channel. And now we get more time to focus on it. And it's thanks to all of you that no matter what level of support you offer, whether it's just watching me and not commenting and things like that, whatever it is, whatever enjoyment you get out of it, thank you for clicking on the video. And thank you for giving me a little bit of your time to listen to me waffle on about Sheffield United, something that I'm going to get to do for a living, at least in the short term. Let's see if we can make it work. But go and watch that video from earlier if you would. It's huge news for the Ramble or something like that. Huge Ramble update, I think it's called. And yeah, it's a really special Ramble for me. So, new chapter with the Ramble, new chapter for Sheffield United. Going into the second half of the season, we're going to be much stronger than we have been. Obviously, I say that slightly without the thought of Harry Souttar, because we're much weaker for Harry Souttar being out of the side. And we need a replacement for him. A lot of people, probably rightly, have been calling for this early, and it's not happened yet. I've been sort of on the thought process of, well, as long as we're getting away with it, then it's not too bad. And we have got away with it. Right up until Hull, we'd squeaked out enough results, and enough appropriate results, if you like, just to sort of justify everything we've been doing in the transfer market. I'm happy that we waited for Brereton Diaz to get the right deal. I'm happy that we waited. Well, we didn't wait for Tom Cannon, did we? But I'm happy that we waited for Hamza Chowdhury and got the right deal for us, rather than getting obligations on both of them. They're both in favour of the club, those deals. The Tom Cannon one for me shows a lot of ambition from the new ownership, backing the manager. The question mark over that signing would be, is it needed at the moment? Is it obviously it's a welcome addition, and I'm delighted he's here. But was that the priority position to strengthen? Some will say yes, because Tyrese Campbell's been out injured at the same time as Kiefer Moore as well. But we only play one striker, and I can't see it changing anytime soon, because you'd likely have to drop Callum O'Hare. So playing one striker, Tyrese Campbell's missing out, probably gets 30 minutes, you know, coming on for Tom Cannon, or if game's not going our way, maybe comes on for a Callum O'Hare and we go 2 up top. Where does Kiefer Moore fit in? And then further down, and I know they're adaptable. So like Brewster, for example, has been playing the 10. He's sometimes played out wide. But where does Brewster get in? Is this the end of Brewster now with Tom Cannon coming in? Does Ryan O'Neill finally get that loan move that I think we're all delighted to see him in the Sheffield United setup in and around it? But at the top end of the Championship, it's a tough ask for an 18-year-old kid who could really do with regular minutes out on loan. I think Louis Marsh falls into that bracket as well. Let's try and get him some hardened EFL minutes under the belt. So, yeah, so Hamza Chowdhury came in on an option. So that's a loan deal till the end of the season. We have the option to purchase him at any time during that period, which would obviously then become permanent in the summer if we choose to act on it. I think it's been met with, I think we've gone in waves with this transfer as a fan base. And this is only my perception from what I've seen online. So please don't take it as an individual sort of prod, because you may be completely different to this. I know Steve Holmes, for example, has always been great signing. We need to get him. I know other people in our chat, and I won't call them out, but not impressed with this signing at all. I think it's got a little bit of BBD-itis in terms of we've been linked for so long, it becomes a bit of a non-story and people sort of lose a bit of interest in it. And then when other names come up, it's like, oh, Shea Charles, oh, Tommy Doyle. They become like the more interesting, more attractive girl at the dance who blinks their eyelashes at you. And Hamza Chowdhury's there just like, what am I like? But Hamza Chowdhury, do not get it twisted, is a great signing at this level. He is exactly what I think we need for this team. And that's just my opinion. I'm here to hear yours. So Hamza Chowdhury alongside Vinny Souza. We've then got the option of bringing in Tom Davis, Sidney Peck, who's been doing an unbelievable job when we have been so threadbare. I think what happens to the team is Ben Broughton Diaz will definitely start on the left. I think Callum O'Hare definitely starts in the 10. And I think Vinny Souza definitely starts in centre midfield. Gus Amer also definitely starts in one of the other 2 places. So that's right wing or centre midfield alongside Vinny Souza. Where do you play him? Where do you play him? Do you play him alongside Vinny and Chowdhury sits out for a little bit? Maybe he's back up to Souza or comes on at 60, 70 minutes for fresh legs and sort of win a ball winner? Or do you put Chowdhury in from the start alongside Vinny and have Gus, who's been playing on the left, now playing on the right, and have the option for him and Callum O'Hare to keep changing like they did so well against Norwich, and bring Raksaki on as a fresh pair of legs? There's options now. And for the first time in ages, we've got options, which is really, really exciting. And the final point, well, it's not the final point. We can talk about whatever you want. But the other major headline from today, Chris Wilder signs a 3-year deal to stay on at Sheffield United as manager. Now, I don't think this were ever in doubt. I think it's been clear for some time that he wanted this to happen. I think the fans have, due to the success of this season, have come round to that way of thinking that this would be the best deal for the club. I'm talking about the original doubters. A lot of the fan base were absolutely delighted that he came back anyway. So I think this is huge, to be honest. And a lot of people are saying today, I'm reading the comments online, have the new owners put a foot wrong yet? It's hard to argue that they have. It's all been very good, hasn't it? I think the test comes in trying times, doesn't it? So if we were to fall at the final hurdle this season, how do we test our resilience against bids for our big players and things like that? So really interesting, really exciting going forward. We're giving ourselves every chance. We still need a centre defender. I still would like a right back as well, even though I'm a huge fan of Alfie Gilchrist. It just seems his form seems to have plummeted. His confidence is not there at the moment. And he just looked really, really shaky against Hull. Didn't have a great first half against Swansea. So I'm going to ask you guys what you think now. I'm going to get into your comments and we can talk about whatever you want. So thank you to everybody that's joining me tonight. S17 starts us off. Evening, Jimmy. Linked with Harry Darling today. Solid Championship centre-back for me. Who would you go for, him or Dunn? Still silent on Kenny with less than 24 hours to go. Any news? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Thank you, pal. So, Harry Darling, I like him as a Championship centre-back. In fact, we've just had a group call with 3 Mardy Blades. Man Mountain called myself and Dave the Nose, and we were having a chat about these options because Dave had mentioned Harry Darling as one of his January targets. And it's not because Harry, and I don't want to speak for Dave, but he explained at the time, it's not because Harry Darling is this absolutely amazing centre half that could go up and up and up in levels. What he is a really solid, like you've said here, a 17, a really solid championship centre back that can do a job at this level. And that's what we need at the moment. It's the ideal scenario is you buy a 22-year-old Harrison Burrows, if you like, in the centre back position, spend a couple of million quid, 3 million quid, and he can then go on to become a 10, 15, 20 million pound player in the Premier League. Well, they're not available willy-nilly for no reason, are they? They're not just freely available. So Harry Darling, we have to think about players that can get you over the line. And even though Harry Darling, and Jimmy Dunn, I'll put him into this category as well, because Jimmy Dunn is 27. I don't know how old Harry Darling is. Is he more 25, 26? Should we have a look rather than just speculate? See if this works while I'm on stream. It never used to, because it always used to cut me stream out. Harry Darling. Born 99. He's 25. Yeah, not bad. Not bad, Jimmy. Trust yourself. Trust yourself, pal. So Harry Darling's 25. Jimmy Dunn, I think, is 27. I prefer Jimmy Dunn as a player. I've seen more of Jimmy Dunn, to be fair. So I'm not upset with either signing, because both are out of contract at the end of the season. So whatever we're paying for them, say it's £1 million because they're out of contract. Even if they don't prove to be Premier League worthy, and remember, we've got to get there first. Even if they don't prove to be Premier League worthy, we've not lost a lot of money on them, and they've helped to get us there. And even if we fall at the final hurdle and we just miss out, we've still recruited a really good championship centre half at a really good price. So in terms of Kenny, any news? I saw that Wilder had apparently set a Wednesday deadline. I think I've read from Danny Hall online, and I may be wrong, so sorry if I'm misquoting him here, but I'm sure somebody has reported online that the latest is Hertha Berlin are digging their heels in, so John Joe Kenny move could well be off. Don't discount that being a tactic from the Sheffield United end, because we know what we're doing with these transfer deals. Certainly Wilder does. Hamza deal is a smart one for me. Might not be a star signing, but ticks a lot of boxes that hopefully push the squad to promotion. Squad depth is starting to give CW selection headaches. It certainly is. I think everything from the base of midfield forward, we've got really good options. Maybe the right wing could do a little bit more. I still think we've only got Brereton Diaz as a legit left winger. But we have got options like Sam McCallum can go there. Burrows, if we're really desperate, but I think he's a superb left back. So maybe right wing, but everything else is the defence, isn't it, that needs attention now for me. Danny, good evening, mate. Hamza is a great player for this level and a good squad player if we go up. I reckon we're just going to loan a centre-back till the end of the season, then buy Suter. Do you start Hamza in the next game, up the Blades, up the right? I do, personally. I start him. There's an argument to say if Vinny's fit to start now, because he got some minutes under his belt, didn't he, against Hull? So if Vinny's fit to start, he commands the starting berth. And Peck's had an 8-day rest since the game. So is he a safer bet, if you like, to start? Maybe so. Hamza Chowdhury's played 6 games, I think, this season. But Tom Cannon was straight in from start as well. So don't be surprised if he chucks him straight in. I would like to see Hamza in from the start, personally. I think he's a seasoned professional at this level, a good player. Marco, good evening, mate. Hamza deal allows us to manage Sousa's minutes also. Absolutely right, he does. He's a very similar player to Vinny Sousa. Different traits, but overall, in terms of being a ball winner and breaking up play, they've got similar attributes in that regard. I'm not saying he's as good as Vinny, or has proven to be this season. New deal for Wilder, signing of the window, onwards and upwards. Let's have a right good go up the Blades. Are we close to making any more signings, says Sam? I hope so, pal. I hope so. I think this is a little bit of gamesmanship from Wilder in the window. We'll soon know. I've just confirmed as well another Ramble signing. Andy the Blade will be live with me for... I'm doing a watch-along on Behind the Ramble with George Motson on Monday, all being well, George's work permitting. And then at 10 o'clock when we go off with that, we'll be coming over to the Ramble, the Blades Ramble, going live with Andy the Blade for the transfer window next Monday. So we will be there counting it down, seeing if United get any late deals over the line. Steve Holmes, good evening, mate. Says, for me, the signing of the window so far, Hamza Chowdhury is not only a midfield Rottweiler, but also protects our back four. I'm just hoping for a centre-half that can also go on to produce in the Prem. It's a big ask, though, isn't it, Steve, in January? You're right. I don't think that's a bad suggestion from Danny, where we might loan a quality centre-half in and then look to go in for Sousa again. Congrats on the news, Jimmy, says S17. Well deserved. Thank you, pal. Keep it ramble, everyone. Keep it ramble. I don't know if that's going to catch on, but we'll see. We'll see. It can do for me. Delighted for Wilder, says Justin. Fully deserved. And with backing from the boardroom, he can crack on with getting us back to the Premier League, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Oh, Justin. Also, mate, congratulations on the new gig. Couldn't be happier for you. Top channel, top content, and a hell of a studio. Thank you, mate. Congrats, pal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you. Appreciate that. Jack says, so then, Jimmy, Hamza's seen a lot of pushback from our fan base and theirs. Has it come from our fan base? I don't think it has. Does he improve us? Is he what we need? In my opinion, we need an attacking midfielder, box to box, to help. We don't create consistently. I think I disagree slightly, Jack, in terms of pushback from the fan base. I think what some fans had picked up on is, from Roy's view, that he's had a bit of a checkered past with his behaviour, which is, you know, he comes here with a clean slate for me. McBurney didn't have the best behaviour all over, and it didn't spill into his conduct on the pitch, and at times was seen to be a role model by different people, as daft as that seems looking back, but that's what happened. I don't think we need an attacking midfielder. I think we've got an ideal attacking midfielder in Gus Hamer. A little bit further forward, you've got Callum O'Hare. Tom Davies can also be a box-to-box midfielder. I think Hamza Chowdhury offers us similar to what Vinny Sousa offers us. And Steve Holmes and myself like the idea of two of those ball winners sitting together and giving it easy. But you can also mix it up a bit, can't you? You could have Vinny being a ball winner, Gus Hamer alongside him. So Vinny gives it to Gus. Gus progresses the ball through the lines. And then on 60 minutes, you can bring Hamza Chowdhury on for fresh legs, can't you, for Vinny? And Tom Davies on or Siddy Peck for Gus Hamer. Whatever it is, it just gives us options because it's depth. I do believe we need to give the boy a chance under Wilder in our squad, but a good point someone made. If he's not getting into a struggling Leicester squad, what does that say about our recruitment? I think you go down Leicester's lineup, and I haven't done this, but I would assume that the majority get in our side. I think you'd do the same with Southampton. Cameron Archer gets in our side right now. Adam Armstrong gets in our side right now. Taylor Howard-Bellis gets in our side. The thing that I think is missed on that point, when people are making the point about he doesn't get into a struggling Premier League side, the gulf. The gulf is huge. Harry Souttar wasn't getting anywhere near the Leicester side. He turned out to be a brilliant signing for us. Danny has become a new Rambler. Thank you, pal. Very much appreciated. Thank you for the support. Gonna need it. Gonna need it now. We're all in, aren't we? Dry Bry when Saturdays come. Evening all. Wilder deal richly deserved, and some stability for him and the club going forward. Up the Blades, up the Ramblers. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. Jackson the Ghost Boy says, Jimmy, do you know what is better than one Brazilian CDM? 2 Brazilian CDMs. Speaking on that, do you think there's any truth to our link with the CDM from Brazil? Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. No, I don't, Jackson. Sorry to pour cold water on that, but there's is it Danilo something or other that I've seen as vaguely linked with? Firstly, Chris Wilder's our manager. So, and he wouldn't like that thrown at him. But I think when it's coming up to a tried and tested campaign, Wilder has consistently gone for more domestic players that he knows he can rely on. I think when you're going for a foreign talent, like a Vinny Sousa, like an Anel, which have proved to be really good signings for us in the end with Sousa, they are punts, and they're not really January signings for me, those. You're sort of taking a gamble that they will work. Whereas Hamza Chowdhury, I think, is a much more sound bet. And now that Chowdhury's in, that will kill off any argument for another CDM coming in, a central defensive midfielder, or however it breaks down to be. Bladesman from the Lane says, the monetary value of these 3 new recruits is sensational. Great to secure Wilder and company for the next 3 years too. What a club this is. A real feel-good factor growing, led from the top. Well said, pal. I agree. Kenny deal off then, is it, Bri? Is it? Glad Wilder signed a deal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Best news of the transfer window. Wilder signing a new contract, says Matt. It's brilliant news, isn't it? Brilliant news. It not only rewards him for the brilliant job he's done, but when he's leading a rebuild. And how do you sell a long-term vision to a player, to a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old? We're going to put faith in you. You're going to be part of this project going forward. If there's no certainty that the manager's going to be there next season, I think everybody sort of knew, unless this season were a disaster, that Wilder was going to be here next season. But it's always nice to get that certainty and assurance that the man that's planning the medium to long term is likely to be here. And I say likely because things can change in football very quickly, but he's likely to be here for the longer term. Looks like Kenny is a no-go transfer, which is a real shame. Perhaps a summer signing. Why would Hertha want to lose him for free? Is bonkers. Now that's bad business. This is why I don't get it, Bladesman. If he was in contract with Hertha Berlin, then I could understand them digging their heels in and saying, I know you've said you want to go. Sorry, but we're not making it happen. We'll talk about it again in the summer, whatever it might be, and we'll get a decent fee. They're going to lose him for free. He already says he don't want to play for him. I think it's gamesmanship. It would not shock me at all to see John Joe Kenny rock up at Bramall Lane this January. Patience with the new signings and returning players was evident on Friday. Let's be measured in the next few games and get behind this team of sound investments. Congratulations, Jimmy, on making the shift to 100% focus on the Ramble. Massive achievement for you and the family. Well deserved. Power of father encouragement. Red Rocket countdown liftoff. Oh, nice. Thank you. Well, thank you, mate. Excuse me. Good evening, Jimmy, says Ian the Gatekeeper. Jimmy and the Ramble family. Delighted with the Wilder news and the signings so far. Desperately need a centre-back, though. Do you think he'll wait and use one of the loan spots? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Well, Danny suggested that, didn't he, a little bit earlier? I think it's potentially a smart move. You could do that for somebody like Michael Keane, couldn't you? Because he's out of contract, I believe, in the summer. Yeah, he is, because I remember that being one of Man Mountain's points when he suggested him, that yes, there might be short-term expensive loans, but if we were to progress to the Premier League, then they then become easier targets to obtain. So if you sign him on loan till the end of the season, you're likely to be able to get him on a free if we go up. So maybe, and that's the thought process, yeah. Craig says, congratulations on your big decision, Jimmy. Thank you, pal. Give it your all, and it'll be rewarded. Big style. Good signing with Chowdhury, and again with Wilder. Gives us stability going forward up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, mate. Matt says, Harry Darling would be a great signing. Always liked him. Any news about Kenny? Sounds like it's not looking good with him. As I said, I've just touched on that, Matt. I know you put it before I'd spoken about it. Evening, Jimmy. Both great deals, says Jack. This is why you are patient and get the right deals for the club. Also, congrats on the full-time gig. Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. That's a lovely thing to say. What's the huge update, Jimmy? Have I missed something? You'll have to go watch it, pal. You'll have to go watch it. Craigo says, hopefully, Wilder will be able to field his strongest team from the start now. Why can't we play both Vinny and Hamza together? One an enforcer, one a playmaker. It's what we're lacking. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. I think we can play them together, Craig. I don't think one's an enforcer or a playmaker. I think they're both like, well, we've started calling them destroyers, haven't we? They're both ball winners and love a tackle and then give it easy. That's the best way to utilize their skill sets, I think. So I think they can play together, though, even though they're very similar players. Because I think that win the ball in the middle, give it to Callum O'Hare, give it to Gus Amer, give it to Bren Burton Diaz or Harrison Burrows. That's the way, innit? Thanks for doing the watch along yesterday, Jimmy. Without you two, my God, would have been so boring. Thank you to Jord Motson, which is his new name. That's Jord, one of our Platinum Ramblers, who comes on and start doing the watch alongs with us. If you haven't joined us for a watch along that Jord is doing, I don't expect you to watch him when I'm there necessarily, because I'm no commentator. But wow. Jord Motson is called Jord Motson for a reason. He has upped the levels significantly of our quality when it comes to watch-alongs. It's embarrassed me, to be honest. Let's be right, but yeah, it's great and it's good content. I'm not afraid to admit when some people are better than me at stuff, and that he fits that like a glove. Beast Boy says, evening, Jimmy. Just want to say what an amazing job you're doing. Your mum will be well. Thank you, Beast Boy. Do not make me cry on stream, please. Thank you very much. Craig says, a few games to get our formation right before we meet some of the other contenders. So plenty of work on the training ground to gel them together so that every player knows exactly what's required of them up the Ramble. Jamie Dumpling, fair play to you, pal. We got on at him for changing it. He needs to change his name so people know who it is. Love this. Evening, Jim. We're going to get a tour of the setup. Also love that we've got Chowdhury with his record. Can Sousa can join Sousa in the boozer and Shax as well? Jamie, come on, mate. Come on, Jamie. You're better than that. In terms of a tour of the studio, I'm sure we can arrange something, pal. Congrats on the full-time gig, Jimmy, says Jordan. Sorry, I just needed a drink. My throat killing. Onwards and upwards. Hamza's a solid signing. Up the Blades. Up the Ramble. Thank you, pal. Evening, Blade, says Joey. Jay says, evening, our local football broadcaster. Any idea on when a centre-back is... George's not here, mate. George's not here. We are desperate for a centre-back, Jace. We are, mate. I bet Dave Webster's having a wonderful time. Can anyone check on the count, David Webster? He is our resident... And he don't come on here very often, but he used to comment quite frequently. He's notoriously anti-Wilder. He's not anti-Sheffield United, which he's very keen to say. He's anti-Wilder. And obviously, the Messiah's signed a new 3-year contract. I am one of the leaders of the cult, apparently, the cult of Wilder. But this is a platform, I keep saying it, no matter how outlandish some may think it is, it's a platform of free speech. As long as it's respectful, Dave Webster's welcome to come on and say whatever he likes, however ludicrous we all might think it is. So shout out to David Webster. Great news for us Ramblers. And of course, Jimmy, wishing you every success. We're all behind you, Jimmy. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. A long-time supporter of the channel. Very much appreciated, pal. Good evening, says Nige. Good evening, my mate. Huge congratulations, Jimmy, says Bill. Well-deserved, pal. Keep it going up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, mate. Hope you're good. David Vinter, you can get the beers in now. You're big time when we meet. You're joking, aren't you? It's opposite. Arms for the poor. CH is the final. Chowdhury is the final piece of the jigsaw. Roll on the rest of this. Oh, centre half, of course. Sorry, David, I completely misread that. Centre half is the final piece of the jigsaw. Roll on the rest of the season. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Full time. Absolutely right, mate. Oh, I can't believe it. It's still not sunk in that. Centre back is the priority position, isn't it? Undoubtedly, centre half is where we need to improve, because even if you rate Jack Robinson, I don't think Anel's as strong alongside Robbo, and we've got nothing underneath it. I'm going to say very little underneath it, but what have we got? We've got Jamal Baptiste, who's got less than probably 10 games, professional games under his belt. We've got Reece Norrington-Davis, who is shot of he's a left back, let's be right, but has been shot of confidence in that position after 2 really poor games there. We've got nobody. Alfie Gilchrist can shift inside, but he's also having a bit of a confidence crisis at the moment. We need a centre-half. But the other question I'll say is, do we still need... I never thought we needed a right-back. If you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I'm wondering why we're linked with John Joe Kenny. Because I really like Alfie Gilchrist. But his form has dropped off a cliff. And Sariki, as much as I really like him, 2 things. I do think he needs to work on his game defensively. And I don't mean to be harsh on him for that, but he's so eye-catching and really strong, not just literally, but really good going forward. But the other thing is, obviously, he's not always fit. He can't stay fit for a long time. We don't want him getting that reputation, obviously, but we need somebody to be consistently able to start in that position. Not forgetting, of course, Chris with the new contract, says Ray. Brilliant news. It's great, isn't it? It's a welcome boost, I think, after the disappointment of Hull. Kieran says, evening, Jimmy. New setup looks very professional. Thank you, pal. Thank you. New signing, 3 more years of Wilder, and Leeds and Burnley dropped a clanger. What's not to love? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. Nige says, good evening, Jimmy. Fantastic news for you today. Well chuffed for you, pal. Biggest signing of the year, Wilder's extension, and finally Chowdhury. I've seen... we've ended the pursuit for Kenny this evening. I'm not convinced we have, pal, if I'm honest. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Jeff says, hi, Jimmy, best signing of the window. I'm glad Chris Wilder has signed a new deal. Absolutely right, mate. Nobody deserves it more. Scott says, evening, Jimbo. Hope you're good, pal. Very pleased with Chowd's a solid addition for me. Amazing news on CW, leading us and deserved extension. Still desperately need a centre-back. Sure, Wilder is working away to sort up the Ramble, up the Blades, up the full-time Ramble. Yes, Scotty. Yes, my boy. H from Steps. Evening, Jimmy. Congrats on Ramble HQ. You're a breath of fresh air with your channel. Thank you. It's no tragedy, is it? It's I'm going to have to think of more Steps songs to lean back into this. But all the best for the future. We are behind you. Thank you, H. Hope Claire's all right. Always had a bit of a thing for Claire from Steps. I don't know what it is. Background looking mint. Jimmy says, Dempsey, huge congratulations regarding today's news. Thank you, mate. Proper happy for you. A normal bloke doing what he loves. Up the Blades. That's all it is, isn't it? Up the full-time Ramble. How have I blagged this? How have I blagged my way to what is essentially a career? I suppose technically, you know, adults call it a career. Talking about Sheffield United. They said it couldn't be done. Well, I'm doing it anyway. So we'll see what we will soon find out. Now that Kenny is not, I think you can probably feel how I feel about it. And I keep saying it, and I don't want to sound sort of pandery, but this genuinely would not be possible without you guys participating and helping, however large or small. I'm grateful for whatever you can give, even if it's just time to come on and talk to us about stuff. Now that Kenny's not happening, is he not, Harry? Who would your top target be? Personally, I would love Van Uwick from Coventry, but that's probably unrealistic. I don't know. I don't know if he's all that, to be honest. I don't know if he's all that and a bag of chips. Huge congratulations to you, Jimmy. Thank you, pal. Appreciate that. See, this is the only thing with solo streaming when you've got a bad throat. You've nobody to fill in the gaps. Michael says, congratulations, Jimmy, by going full-time. The Blades are your passion. Your channel is growing and expanding with other collaborations with different content creators. It's part of the journey you're on. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. A regular contributor. Love reading your comments and things. I know we don't always 100% agree on stuff, but that's what it's about, isn't it? That's what we're always here to talk about. Evening all, says Sai. A word of wisdom. Spread love, not war. What a lovely words of wisdom those are. Joe says, congratulations to the full-time Rambler, Sir Chris Wilder, given a well-deserved contract extension, and Chowdhury is finally a Blade. Up the Blades, up the Rambler. It's a good day in it. It's a good day in it, Joe. Wow. JD says, Wilder, the best signing in January by far. I won't take that personally. Thanks to the new owners. Exciting times ahead. Congrats on the new job. Thank you, mate. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Nige says, Jimmy, found you by chance, and now you're my default site for Blades news and views. Thank you, Nige. Good luck. Years ago, my wife followed her passion and has never looked back. Up the Ramble. Thank you, Nige. I think it's a really. I won't go too deep into it now because I'm probably I'm nearly half an hour behind on comments. But I spent a long time thinking that security, and you can watch this on the actual video where I talk about it. But really, I think it's a good example to set for your kids as well, to go after your passion into it and sort of try your best to make it work. It might not be the most lucrative thing in the world. You might have been better off financially on one side of the coin. But if you can cope financially and you're still being sensible about things, go for what you love to do. Life is too short. My wife said that to me for the last 10 years. Why do you always think about tomorrow? You never live for today. Well, it's taken me 10 years, but I've finally started to listen to her. I'll take her advice, should I say. I've always listened to her. Always. John says, congrats on going full-time on the Ramble. Dream job, mate. Looking forward to going to Derby. I predict a 0-2 win. Cannon double. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. I hope you're right, pal. I hope you're right. Because as crazy as it sounds, and again, this is just my opinion, I've heard some criticising Cannon already. Now, we can talk about it if you want. Safe trip to Derby, pal. Hope you have a decent trip there. Other content creators have gone in the full-time podcast as their channels have grown, like Connor at One Leeds, Joe Wyman, and they are following their passion for Leeds. Absolutely right, and more power to those people that do it. Yeah, Connor's been a big supporter as well of the channel, and I'll continue to work with him. He's become a good mate over recent times, and there's been a bit of a crossover between Blades going over to his channel, Leeds fans coming over to our channel, and turns out just because we support different teams, we can still both get on all right, and you know, as fan bases, we can slightly mix a little bit. Let's hope we haven't made a bigger job with the new signing, says Nige, with our squad only being half a season altogether. But exciting times ahead up the Blades. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Nige. It's a big job. Thing is, the thing that puts my mind at rest is when we've started the season, and I've said this before, so sorry for those that have heard me repeat this now. But when we started the season, I'm pretty sure the first game or the first few games, we had 7 new faces in the lineup. Now, that's not supposed to work. That's not supposed to gel, no matter how good of players they are. Michael Cooper, Callum O'Hare, whoever it was that's coming in, Harrison Burrows, it's not supposed to gel as quickly as it did. So now we're going to have up to 5 new faces. A couple of them have already started playing anyway, in Brereton, Diaz and Cannon. Again, it shouldn't work by chucking them all in at once. But if anyone can make it work, I have faith that Wilder can make the best job of it, even though it's a really tricky thing to do. Made up, Wilder signed the new deal, says Al. Also, congrats on going full-time, Rambler, pal. Like and subscribe up the Ramble. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Nick Cook. Evening, Jimmy and the Ramblers. I don't know enough about Hamza. Is he any Robin Hood? Do you think he will fit with Wilder's style, formation and tactics? Can I just say as well, thank you to Nick, because I've just had a notification pop up on my phone. And Nick is known to be the most generous, or one of, to be honest, but a very, very generous Rambler. And he's just donated a huge super chat direct to the Ramble rather than on YouTube. So thank you, pal. I have noticed it. And thank you to David Morwood, who's just done the same. None of that is expected. None of that is, you know, but that is, I do want to show me appreciation while we're on, because people aren't going to see it like they would normally. But thank you for that generosity. It's really much appreciated. I think I've covered your point, pal. But if I haven't, just let me know and we can circle back to it. Come on, guys. It's his living, says Nige. Hit the like button. Yes, it's me living, Nige. Yeah, that. It's free to like. It's free to subscribe to everybody. My mate who's a Blade has a family in Leicester. He claims supporters say he's trouble. Could be sour grapes. No, Jimmy, I've heard contrasting views on it, Nige. I've heard some have said, I haven't read the view from yet, and I always read it, to be fair. I love Roy's column, but I haven't caught up with it yet. It's been a bit of a busy day for me, as you can imagine. But some are saying he's a bad egg, and others are saying, why haven't we been using him more? So I think it may be sour grapes. There might be something to it. We can only take him for how we find him at our club. That's how and if he starts becoming trouble, what I would say is you don't hear a lot about him in the papers or anything like that. So he can't be that bad for me. He's not been, you know, caught doing out daft or anything, to my knowledge. So you've got to hope it's either previous immaturities or a little bit of Chinese whispers. O'Hare in the cam and Gus on the right, says Nige. We can't afford to lose O'Hare's work rate in the middle of the park. I agree with that. His press is superb and starts as offsets the tone for us, I think, at the moment. He's been one of the shining lights in a dodgy run of form. And I don't mean in terms of results. I mean in terms of performances. But I think he's done really well, apart from the odd performance himself. But he can't be expected to do everything, can he? I think he's the most improved player throughout the season. Shout out to Mr. V, who spotted it early. When Brewster scored that goal against Swansea, he should have been kept in the team for Hull, says Michael. I think it were harsh for him to come out, to be honest. He knows he has to up his game, and with Cannon's arrival, could be the boot up his backside to retrieve his game or get another contract, couldn't it, Michael? Yeah, you're right. What else could he have done I mean, he came on, didn't he? He featured in the game, but he's been bombed out straight away, hasn't he, for the new signing, which isn't always, you know, how is that going to do for morale? I'm stumbling because I was looking for this.
This is the view from the mountain with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man, mountain strong and true. What a man, what a view.
He's not coming on, so sorry if people got excited about that, but he has commented. The business is great. So far, he's great. Top players at the level, and it is exactly what we needed. Now, finish off the window. 2 to 3 defenders would be very nice indeed. Someone like Harry would suit us. Hey! Boom! Brilliant. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Top man Mountain. Great news on the Wilder contract with the Blade, says Kel. Will, thank you for becoming a Rambler, pal. Very much appreciated. We've got a WhatsApp group that you can join if you look at our YouTube community page that you can now access. Burnley, if they finish third, says Michael, have the best chance of winning the playoffs given their strong defensive unit, more so than Leeds or the Blades. I mean, you've got to score in playoffs as well, though, Michael. That's the difference. Mark put a ridiculous stat up in the Platinum chat today, Mark Hill, and it showed 9 home. I think it were it 7, 8, or 9 home games where it's been 0-0 at Burnley. How poor is that to watch? I mean, it's grinding out results, and they've been very good away from home, very efficient. They were very good against us. So I'm not taking anything away from Burnley, but I wouldn't hang my hat on Burnley in the playoffs, like I wouldn't any of us, to be honest. Leeds could fall apart. We never do well in the playoffs. We've never won the playoffs. Sunderland, you know, are they the finished article? I'm not sure. Harry says, I will bench O'Hare. What? And play Hamer in the 10. I do love Hamer in the 10. Raksaki on the right. So you play Raksaki in the team over O'Hare. And I know it's a natural position thing, but I think that's a big call. Brereton Diaz on the left and Tom Cannon up front. Chowdhury and Peck in the middle with Anel and Burrows starting with hopefully a new centre-back and right-back. No Vinny. So you're benching O'Hare and no Vinny? Or have you just forgot about Vinny? Let me know, H. Let me know. Evening, Jimmy. Congratulations on the news today. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Like and subscribe, says Jace. Thank you, mate. Kenny Deal is off, says Andrew. Is it? Is it, though? I know I've seen the news, Andrew, but is it definitely off? I'm not convinced. Watford fans aren't overly convinced with Chowdhury. But give him a chance, as we should everybody. Prefer Dunn to Darling as the new centre-back, but wouldn't be gutted if we got Darling, says Dino. Don't slouch, darling, says General Melchett. Don't know what that's from, Paul. To be honest, am I slouching? That's a joke. I know it's not about me. John Joe Kenny, deal collapse. Jimmy, who do we get in now, says Zonny. Ryan Zombie. hey, Zombie. We get Grimes now, then play Hamza right back. So, Grimes is going to cov, I think. It looks like Grimes is going to cov. Hamza can play right back. I don't like... Not that I was just about to say I don't like Hamza at right back. Ask me how many times I've seen Hamza play at right back. 0, in all honesty. So, I can't say I don't like him at right back. But I like him in the position, his natural position for me, as a central defender, central midfielder. So, I wouldn't want him as right back necessarily, unless he does a great job there. That's where he's played a little bit for Leicester, apparently. I would like us to bring in a right back, and I think John Joe Kenny might still happen. So, just watched your stream about you going full time, says Mark. Jimmy, I feel silly now. Why have I missed a comment from earlier? I don't know. Don't worry, Mark. No need to feel silly, pal. I feel silly for leaving a guaranteed income for the internet. But you take these risks in life, don't you? Extreme Dave says, just think Vinny, Hamza, O'Hare, Gus, BBD, and TC. What a lineup. Let's strengthen that back four up now. Get Matt Clark in. It just gone to Derby. Guy's got loads of experience and versatility. Yeah, he's just signed for Derby today, I think, pal. And to be honest, I don't think he's the player he used to be. We used to want him. We wanted him at one stage to replace Jack O'Connell before Robbo came in. He went to Middlesbrough. He's been at West Brom as well, I think. I don't know whether he went there first or which way around it was. Yeah, he's been sort of higher up in the Championship, hasn't he, throughout most of his career, but dropped out of the Borough side now, on his way to Derby. Would love Dunn, says Dale, but maybe we could get 2 new centre-backs in case Anel or Jack get injured. What's your thoughts? I'd take 2 all day. Do you know what? With Dunn and Darling being in the same position, I don't just mean centre-back. I mean, the contracts are both out, expiring at the end of the season. We could get both in. But let's be right, we're not going to drop Anel, are we? So one of them is coming to sit on the bench. So I don't know if we would get 2 for that reason alone. Also, if you get a right back, then you can technically have Alfie as your 4th centre-half, 3rd or 4th centre-half, couldn't you? I think we'll end up with 1. I would take 2, obviously, because we need depth there. But I think I'd love Dunn. I would love Dunn as well. Dunn. Michael says, the guys at TalkSport who were watching the Burnley match yesterday said if this is the best Championship has to offer, both teams will not last in the Premier League should they get promoted. It were really poor, Michael. A really poor advert. And that is coming from the lad who supports a team who got spanked 3-0 at home by Hull on Friday night. So it's not a case of they're rubbish, we're ace, because we've had a really poor time of it this week, haven't we, as well? Sunderland can't beat bottom of league Plymouth at home. It's been a terrible week for the top four. And when we started that weekend off, and we were the ones that got 0 points, it could only go wrong for us from there. But we've had the least damage done to us, haven't we, as possible. So that is the best possible outcome for us. And don't get me wrong, I don't think the Championship is a great standard this year, but I do think the top 4 sides are a level above everybody else in this division on the right day. Obviously, Hull showed us that weren't the case, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? Terence says, if the deal for Kenny can't be sorted, could possibly go for Dunn and Darling up the blade. That's a good point, actually, Terence, thinking about it, because even though I've just said to Dale that we probably won't get 2 centre halves, if the Kenny deal is done, as in like done and collapsed, I don't think it is. I think it's gamesmanship, but I might be wrong. If it is done, bumped, Jimmy Dunn has been playing centre right back for QPR. So he can play right back as well. That would definitely be Wilder's excuse to get him in. Get Dunn in for the right back spot, Harry Darling in for alongside Anel. It's not a bad shout, that, Terence. Not something I'd considered either. Both will be at good prices because of the contract situation. Like it. I like it a lot. Evening all, says Tom. Sounds like a real solid signing. Just got to hope he's grown up after some of his off-the-pitch mistakes. Also, congrats on going full-time. Thank you, pal. Appreciate that. All right, Jimmy says, Finn, hope you're all well. Just finished watching your earlier video and it shows just how far you've come. Keep it up the blades, up the ramble. Thank you, Finn. Appreciate that. David says, do you think we might change formation now and play 2 up top? No, I don't. It does give us the option to do that, though, David. We can now be a lot more flexible in-game, can't we? And it's great to have that option to do that. I think we'll do that potentially if we're struggling in a game or struggling just to break down the opposition. But I think we'll stick with the 4-2-3-1 for the time being. Need a centre-back now, says Turkey Jack. We do. Scott says, I said a couple of days ago that the Kenny deal looks more off than on. Berlin being difficult, and I've read that they want 2 million and also want a replacement before they let him go. 100% move on, but for who? Well, if that's the case, Scott, then yeah, we can't be wasting time, can we? Having said that, if Alfie Gilchrist plays against Derby, it's not the end of the world. I think he's, over the course of the season, he's had more good games than bad. And there's only the 3rd of Feb then, isn't there? So it's not like they can keep asking us for this for ages and ages and ages. Look what Waiting's done for us with BBD and Chowdhury. So you never know. Jimmy, will you be doing a watch along for the Blades match away to Derby on Saturday while keeping an eye on the Burnley Leeds matches at the same time? I won't, Michael. And there's a reason for it, because they are actually, can you get them on? I don't think you can get them on SUTV, can you? I don't think you can get a legal stream. Now, tell me if I'm wrong with this, because I might be. It's not something I've done before. A legal stream. I didn't mean that, but I'm going to go around and watch it elsewhere, shall I say. So I won't be doing a watch along, because if you can't get a legal stream to watch it, I can't be broadcasting the game from Wakefield. Yeah, I might have somebody knocking on my door. So no, at current time, I'll be watching it with ATB, and then I'll be coming back straight after and doing a 5 o'clock 90 after 90. Great stuff on the new signing, says Kel. Completely agree. Lloyd says, evening, Jimmy. Jimmyest of Jameses. Congratulations on all. Congratulations going all in with the Ramble. Pal, brilliant player in Hamza at this level. A real gives his all sort of bloke. Now let's find that killer centre back up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, mate. Finn says, I've been saying since the very start of the season, I think we should play 2 up top. Even more now, as I think Cannon will be better with in a 2 with Campbell. What a strike force that would be. But with that, Finn, I agree with you, by the way. I think 2 up top, particularly with the talent we've got now in the role of striker. Where does Callum O'Hare fit into that? And I know we've played formations previously with Duffy in the 10 and 2 strikers, but that's without wingers. So Brereton Diaz potentially comes out of the side, doesn't he? It's a really tricky call. So if you go 2 up top, it's likely Callum O'Hare certainly isn't the 10. I don't mean he has to come out of the side, but that's his most natural position. and where does he go? So it's again, it's square pegs round holes, isn't it? Difficult. Hamza is quality, just the boost we need, says Ray. Like it's been said, centre back is a must. We'll be solid up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Blades, the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Suter wasn't starting for Leicester yet. Look at him, says Jamie. Yeah, it's a good point. Jimmy, who's your T person in your new job? I'm guessing you're the CEO and chairman. I ain't got a tea lady, to be honest. I'm making my own brews, one-man band and all that. Proud to be as well. Don't worry about that. Are we signing anyone else, says Kelly? We will be. We absolutely will be. I'm expecting another 2 to come in. Finn says 4-4-2 with Amos Sousa in midfield, BBD and Raksaki on the wing with the 2 TCs up top. O'Hare doesn't do enough for me. Fair enough. Fair enough. Any news on Tom Davis, Jimmy? Might have missed it if it's been mentioned. It's not been mentioned, Nige. Wilder said 2 to 3 games. It looked like a worse injury than he's sort of alluded to. It gives me Tyrese Campbell vibes, if I'm honest. By his timeline, Davis, and it'll be better to find out from his press conference before the game, but by Wilder's timeline originally was 2 to 3 games away, and we've had the 2 games now. So Derby would be the 3rd game. So if he was on the right trajectory, he might be available for Derby, but I don't think he will be. I don't think he will. On the Wilder presser, actually, one of the new shows that we're going to be doing now that we are full-time rambling is Hot Off the Presser. So I will be going live straight after Chris Wilder's press conferences, and we can just break down. It doesn't have to be a long one, but we'll break down everything that he's talked about. And you know, if we've completely gone way off the mark in the warm-up or something like that, or there's some news that comes out of it, we can talk about that as well. Dino says, chuffed it's gone well enough for you to go full-time, Jimmy. Lad, a nice one. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Look out, TalkSport. Jimmy Ramble's coming for thee. Thank you, Dino. Another long-term supporter of ours. Really appreciate it, pal. Hope you're good. Dublin Blade says, if people think Chowdhury has a checkered background, they need to look at mine. Has he done anything well in Sheffield United shirt? Until he does, he's got a clean slate with me. Well said, pal. Absolutely right. Leeds have some tough matches for February, says Michael, after their match against Cardiff at home the weekend. They have 2 back-to-back away games against Cov and Watford. They're not easy, are they? Then 2 home matches, West Brom and Sunderland. And Lampard won the last 4 in a row or something. So, and there's no love losses between Frank Lampard and Leeds United. Jimmy, how are the lads? Says, is it Davy or Davy? I know a Davy is a really good lad, but I don't want to be pronouncing your name incorrectly, pal. Evening, Jimmy. To let you know, the Kenny deal is officially off, says we are. All right, well, thank you. That's made me look like a fool for the last half hour, but, you know, it's not the first time. Who else are we expecting to see? I don't see 5 signings coming in. Well, we had 3, Jack. So another 2, and I think we're set. I think it will be another 2. We were saying last year we got Cameron Archer. It was nice, certain person here, lol. Wanted him so badly. You get the feeling about Jimmy is Wilder number 2. Oh, dearie me, dearie me. I will be Wilder's number 2 if Alan Nil fancies a break. I'll be Wilder's T-boy. No problem with that. Just noticed the plant is back in the corner. Shout out for the plant. Woo! Yes, Ray. Yes, I'm always bad with knowing what side. There it is. There it is. I mean, I'm in the way of Georgie Baldock. I'm going to have to. I've ordered some more posters from Marty Greer, because how good do these look, by the way? Marty Greer, bigcartel.martygreer.com. Make sure you use Blades Ramble in the code at the checkout, so you get your freebie, your free Ramble exclusive poster, and support your local business in Marty Greer, because look at this superb work he does here. Blades Ramble, Irvit, proper feuty. I think he's a Sunderland boy, old Davey. Evening, Jimmy says, Danny, big congrats again. Really need to concentrate on the defence now, folks. Desperately in need of someone before the window shuts, but Wilder is nailed to the mast now. More great news. Agreed. Great news, Jimmy. Up the flipping Ramble, up the Blades, like and subscribe, says David. Nice one, pal. Lloyd says, anyone else notice we don't get a look in from anyone when discussing promotion? Everyone seems to be concentrating on Sunderland, Burnley and Leeds. Seems everyone has already written us off. Let them, Lloyd. Not bothered. Don't care what anybody else says about us. Some people are getting a little bit twitchy about no one's really saying Southampton are worse than, like, last season. Everybody was saying how bad Sheffield United were in Premier League, and we were atrocious. but Southampton are on less points than us. Nobody's really saying that. Well, there might be. Let's be honest, there might be, because we don't get all the feeds and the news articles and stuff like that about Southampton. There may be a lot of noise in and around Southampton about it. So I'm not bothered about what people are saying about other teams. I would prefer us to slip under the radar. I prefer us to be underdogs. And I don't want us to be out of the first and second places at all. I want us to obviously stay there and finish there. But if we do drop to third or even fourth at some stage, I think that galvanizes this Sheffield United side, certainly this manager, and being the chaser rather than the chased, I always think is more exciting. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble, up W, like and subscribe, says Danny. By the time Sheffield United play Leeds and Burnley, those new signings would have been embedded into the Blades style of play, and Wilder will have a fair idea of the best partnerships within the team. Let's hope so, Michael. Bryce says, as I said earlier, well done, lad. Love the Ramble. Looks like the deal for Kenny's going down the Swanee Gym, up the Ramble, up the Blades. We shall see, mate. Reading Roy's view, it's not looking good, Jimmy, but we'll give him a chance, says Chris. Good, mate. I hope we do. I hope we do. I hope the majority of fans do, because he hasn't kicked a ball for us yet, has he? Hi, mate. Hamza Chowdhury, Chris Wilder, and Jimmy Balde. Dear me. 3 great signings today. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, pal. Hope you're good. Fantastic news. Up the Ramble, says Beardman. Thanks, mate. Wilder is a great championship manager, but if we go up and get a few red results, I can see the new owners being... I can't see the new owners being sentimental. I think you mean Chris, yeah. He's vulnerable like anybody else. And to look at what Russell Martin... I don't rate Russell Martin, by the way, but he took Southampton up and they axed him, didn't they? Steve Cooper was same. You know, I agree. I agree, to be honest. Congratulations on the full-time content, says Chris. Content provider, well-deserved. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Please like and subscribe, says Chris. Gilchrist's best position is centre-back, says Jamie. He certainly thinks so. Pixie says, how do, Jimmy? Congrats for going full-time. Thank you, mate. Best Blades content out there. I can remember watching you when you had 350 subs. Those were the days, lol. Like and subscribe, up behind the Ramble, up the Ramble, up the Blades. Well said, pal. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Brand says, evening, Jimmy. Huge congrats to you and the family on the news. Loved watching you every since. I think that's going to be ever since. But no problem. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Steve says, just been on Spanish Sports. Iheanacho from Seville in talks with United. I'm not sure. We certainly don't need another striker now, do we? I'd be amazed if that happens. I've seen the loose links to him, to be honest, Steve, but can't see it. Jamie Dumpling says, will he be using the sofa when Andy the Blade joins you for the watch-alongs? Just his little face in the corner moaning about coloured boots. Could do, to be honest. It's not been a hugely thought-out thing, to be honest. When we watched, we did the previous watch-along, and it was with my dad. He was on that sofa, but it was in front of the desk, so on the side against this wall. So he was watching the game, and when he was shouting to respond to people's comments because he weren't on the screen, that's where he was. So yes, yeah, we could potentially. I might sit here and he can sit there, can't he? And you'll get to see his face and him moaning and what have you about what United are doing or not doing. Do you have any concerns about Cannon being able to gel in the squad and playing style, says Matthew? I personally don't, but I'm just wondering if you or anyone else does. Not at all. Not at all. He's the first signing under this new data-driven approach. And I am more of a fan of a hybrid style, if I'm honest. I love the fact that data's been more involved, but being a former scout, I'm a bit more old school. My dad brought me up with the old eye test as well, which obviously he had an awful lot of success with in his career. So I do think you need a blend of both. But Tom Cannon, he ticks all the boxes in terms of everything we're technically looking for as well. So I think he will fit in just fine. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Hi, Jimmy. Congratulations on the full time, says Ellis. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Damien, thank you for becoming a Rambler. It really helps us now more than ever. Thank you, pal. Appreciate that. John says, well done, Jimmy. Loving the new look. Have you got another cushion on your chair? You sat a bit higher. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the full-time Ramble. That's what it is. I'm thinking people are swearing, but they're not. It's up the full-time Ramble. Top man. Thank you, mate. I have adjusted the camera as advised by, I can't remember who it was on the last stream, but thank you to whoever it was, because I could move the camera down slightly and it not catch the monitor in as well. So, yeah, I'm a touch higher. So Dublin Blade, I might be holding off that WD-40 just yet. So who else is coming if Kenny Deal is dead? Don't know, Tom, someone's just suggested Jimmy Dunn could still come as a right back for now. Don't think it's a bad shout at all. Hope Wilder can calm Chowdhury's inner maniac. Up the Ramble, says Chris. Love the new background and love your channel, says Kelly. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Thank you. Appreciate that. Think we should have another player of our good friends, off our good friends at Coventry and take Van Uwick off their hands, says Jake. It's second shout for Van Uwick, to be honest, tonight. Brand says, evening, Jimmy. Huge congrats to you and the family on the news. Love watching ever since the first video. You've gone from an iPhone to an absolute natural at this, and you're brilliant at it. Oh, thank you, Brand. What a lovely thing to say. Really appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. And again, not coming on, but we're going to read a comment from this man.
David knows, he really knows where the wind, I know whispers blow. Smelly breath, he's in the know. David knows, steals the show.
Knows, he really knows. Hey up, Jim. Congrats on taking the leap. Well deserved. I know how hard you work on this. Can't wait to see what's coming next. This is genuinely the beginning. I feel it in my gut. It's rarely wrong. Thank you, Dave the Nose. What an absolute legend that boy is. And a huge, huge part of this channel, as is Man Mountain and all the other people that both appear on screen. And there's a lot of support off screen as well. So could be a loving tonight, but I'm too far behind on comments. Chris says, let's see those balls firing from cannon at the weekend. Up the right. See what you've done there. See what you've done. The Anglo-Saxon 66 says, massive congrats on getting the channel to where it is, Jimmy. Totally deserved. Quality channel. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Ben says, as a Blade living in Suffolk, your channel is a brilliant link to like-minded people as yourself. Good luck for the future, pal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Very kind comments tonight. I really appreciate it. It's quite humbling, to be honest. Good evening, Jimmy, says Rich. Congrats on the full-time Ramble. Whoa, your mum would be proud of you. Nice background, by the way. Can I ask why the Championship and below haven't got VAR? Probably quite a significant investment for a lot of clubs to get up to that sort of level. And also, it's proper football below the Premier League is the way I would probably go with it. Thank you so much for that lovely comment as well. I will not cry on stream, I promise. Also, Hamza is a great signing, says Bran. Love the gritty midfielder that works hard defensively. Wouldn't mind us getting both Harry Darling and Jimmy Dunn if John Joe Kenny doesn't come. Robinson is not good enough. No comment, Bran. No comment. Sheila's Wheels says, congratulations on your new venture. Will be a big success. Looking forward to seeing more of you now, Jimmy. Nice that the family are 100% behind you. They always are, Sheila, to be honest. I can't ask for any more from not just my wife and my girls, but obviously a lot of you know now, me dad and those of you that come to Triple Point know my Aunt Sal, Aunt Sal, and my brother when he can be bothered to turn up to games. But what they only want what's best for me. And, you know, if a secure job is traditionally seen as being what's best for, you know, a family man and things like that, which I completely understand. But I've not done this on a whim. It's not an impulsive decision that I hadn't properly thought about. It's taken a lot of time to work up to this level. It's due to the support of sponsors and patrons and people watching the videos, because obviously YouTube provides you with finance for the amount of views you get and stuff. So it's been a team effort. Everybody has helped get me to this point, and my family are now comfortable in. They see what effect it has on me personally, and doing something you love. You can't put a price on that. So as long as I'm okay financially, and we are okay, then I think you've got to go for it sometimes. I've never taken a proper risk in my life, and this is a calculated risk. And I've got really good people behind me as well, not just my family, but people like John Asquith, who have backed me from the start, my business coach from Action Coach Sheffield. Again, I can't speak highly enough of some of the people that have helped me, honestly. Nige says, I think it's disgusting the small minority of fans who are criticising the new signings this window. We all wanted the signings so far, and we've got them. Sit back, relax, and sing your heart out and get behind the lads. I think they will, Nige, to be honest. I think, ultimately, when you strip everything back, every fan is behind United, whoever's pulling the shirt on. You can be a little bit concerned about checkered pasts, or you might not rate a player initially, whatever it might be. But Brewster scoring the other night is the prime example, isn't it? A lot of people don't rate Brewster, think he's been massively overrated. We all still get off as sick, don't we, when he scores? Because we all want United to do well and we want the United players to do well. So I won't worry too much about it, Nige, in that respect. Yeah, I think because we're working class, it's something again. I think you're on about VAR, aren't you, David, to be fair? Charlie, thank you so much for the very kind super chat. Congratulations, Jimmy. Looking forward to all the new content coming our way. Let me know if you need any more player videos. Yes, Charlie, one of our Platinum Ramblers, has got me 2 videos. I believe it's 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. You might have got me 3, but you've definitely got me Anel and Brewster, haven't you, from memory, to say, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Love that. Thank you. So if anybody's going to a signing before or getting your autograph or anything like that, and you want to get us a quick video that says subscribe to the Blades Ramble or anything like that from any players, feel free. Have at it and just send it into Ramble because we love stuff like that. Jimmy, is that a blue screen behind you or your living room? It looks great. It's a studio, pal. It's a studio that we... So if you've... I know, Brian, you said you've only found us recently, so you might not know the backstory, but I have never taken... The wage that I will take next month will be the first money I've taken out of the studio for personal gain. Everything that went into the channel, all the equipment, this was my garage. It's a garage conversion, has been paid for by the channel. And that is a huge part of why I'm so proud of everything that we've achieved, because everything in here has been paid for by the Blades Ramble. So we have upgraded ourselves as we have, you know, hopefully improved the content as well as the equipment that helps improve the content, if that makes sense. But yeah, so it's a real background, pal. These are real... I know they don't look real because they're that good, but these are real Marty Great posters on the wall. This is a KC Soccer Sofas Sheffield United sofa. I don't know if you can see it properly. I'll take your comment down a sec just so you can see it a little bit better. It says Bramall Lane at bottom. It's just, and that was gifted by KC Sofas. So absolutely incredible. Bloody hell, Jimmy, loving the new setup. Have you moved into a 5-star suite? It looks decent, doesn't it, L-Dog? I'm happy with it. Thank you. Paul Rose of Wellstone Landscapes, one of our sponsors. Another one of the reasons I'm able to do this. So thank you, pal. Hamza's going to bring that much-needed depth to the middle of the park and will hopefully give Peck a much-needed rest when needed rather than burning him out. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. We wanted Chowdhury. We've got him. Stuff the haters. I don't think there'll be many haters, Nige. I think there's some that's just a little bit wary. That's all. Wrexham 2-0 down. Picked the wrong team, Mr. Reynolds. Nigel's loving it. Brilliant. Isn't it bright? So that shows how far behind I am, because it may be different now. I'm going to try my best to catch up on the comments. Apologies if I'm not caught up to yours yet. Tony Curry Sweet was the highlight of the Burnley game. Rappaport with red wine jus and a vanilla bean cheesecake for Pud helped. Oh, nice, Chris. Nice. Do you want to sponsor the Ramble if you're knocking about in Tony Curry Sweet? Blooming heck. Paul says, evening, Jimmy. Love the new look Ramble HQ. High quality. Thank you, mate. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Come on, guys and girls, hit the subscribe. The more subscribers, the more chance I come on a phone in. Yes, David's promised to come on a phone in. What's the target, David? You'll have to let us know what the target is for the subscriber number. Jamie Dumpling says Leeds are just as bad as us in the playoffs, so could see Sunderland going up through it. Yeah, I think Leeds will go up automatic, Jay, to be honest. Burnley's home form, 2-1-1s and 6-0-0s. Boring, Burnley. That is rubbish, isn't it? Tom, thank you very much for the kind super chat, pal. A little something to celebrate the triple good news. Thank you, mate. I hope to see you again in Triple Point. It was nice meeting you last week. Excuse me. Harry says, I'm benching O'Hare because he needs a rest. Don't want to rush Sousa back and risk him fully. Okay, so it was tactical. Fair dues, understand that. Are there any other Blades watching along from Spain, says Paul? Have to make it known if you're in España, like Paul. Jamie says, said it once, we'll say it again. Look at what Stoke fans thought of Campbell. Exactly right. David McGoldrick's another prime example, isn't it? Players who've had bad experiences at other clubs and come and done a job for us, or usually done brilliantly for other clubs and can't do a job for us. Rian Brewster. Please reinforce central defence, says Blade running. A raft of attacking midfielders is a luxury, but surely defence comes first, Mr. Wilder. Up the Blades, not down the goal difference. Stoke fans rated Campbell, Jamie. Not always. Not always. I think it was quite mixed, to be honest, when he came over. It was Blackadder goes forth, Jim, regarding Harry Darling. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, of course it was. Yeah, my brother won't be happy with me for missing that reference. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Harry, behave. You can't possibly bench your hair, says the fat lad from Sheffield. Lee says, done or darling? For me, it's done. But if the price is right, why not both? We only have 2 specialist centre-backs. Being greedy, but wouldn't mind us picking up a right-back and maybe 1 more centre midfielder, but that's a big ask. But Lee, since you've probably put that point, it's been suggested that Dunn could come in as a makeshift right-back like he's been playing for QPR. That'd be Wilder's excuse to get him in anyway, wouldn't it? Congrats on going full-time, says Josh. Exciting times, dude. You've earned it. Really hope it works out for you. Thank you, Pat. So do I. So do I. Jimmy, with all these new signings, how close are the Blades to FFP and PSR limit? Nowhere near, Michael. Nowhere near, pal. We brought in 31 million, I think, net in the summer. Renegade says, and I've got your email, thank you. I need to read it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I've been at football with my girl. Centre half has to be the focus for the rest of the window. We have players who can slot in at right back if we're desperate, but we're desperate for that towering defender who's like Suter, I suppose you mean, yeah? Did the on-air sign get broke in the rearrangement? Where does it go? Where does it go in here? You know, I could have it as a novelty. Something. It were only a little novelty thing that wife bought me anyway. So it's still in here, but I'm not using it at the moment. Nazor says, how do you feel about Hamza? He will join the national team on March 26th. Hamza is my elder brother. All right. Well, if this is Hamza's younger brother, then welcome to Sheffield. Welcome to Sheffield United. I think he's a really good signing, as you've probably heard me say, and I'm not just saying that now because you're here. If you are, because we get a lot of people that claim different things, but yeah, I'm really pleased with the signing, to be honest. Congrats on the full-time Ramble, says Lee. You still owe me that pint. I got you that pint. Got you that pint, definitely. Nazar, he will answer you when he gets to your comment, mate. Yeah, thank you, Nige. Yeah, because you've repeated it a few times, but yeah, sorry, mate. I've still trying to catch up. If the deal collapsed, you've got to feel for Kenny. He really wanted to come, says Bry. Where does it leave him now? It leaves him probably out in the cold at Hertha until the summer when he's out of contract and he'll come for nothing. I would have thought we might have moved on by then, to be honest. So it might not be to us. If it has, it'll be a hot summer move, Brian. Yeah. Thank you. I think Nazar's fairly new into, to be honest. So 3 out stops SUTV. SUTV only works abroad at any time. Sky stop SUTV working in the UK. There you go. So I can't watch it. Can I? VIP stand is a perfectly legal streaming site, mate. Scouts Honor. All right, okay. The little winky face tells me you're not a very good Boy Scout, Ben. Hope you well, mate. 442 O'Hare goes right wing, says Jamie. Now you've given it away, they'll be knocking on Andy the Blade's door. They don't know where he lives. That's by design. I'm lucky he let me know where he lives. Cashing at Derby is still a decent player. I think he's going to end up in the Prem, but it'd be a great addition if viable. He's going to Derby for 6.5 million, I think. Still a good price, but yeah, he's not going to. He'll go to Brighton instead of us, won't he? What might be a smart deal is sign for Brighton, loan to Sheffield United. Jimmy, I hope your wife didn't hear your comments on Claire from Steps. No, she didn't. Nor will you repeat them, Michael. With you going full time, would you consider getting a media pass to be able to join Wilder's pressers? Possibly. I've not thought of that, Jamie. Well, I have sort of sporadically thought about it, but I won't have a clue where to start. But yeah, I could do, I suppose, couldn't I? That might ruffle some feathers, though. Any right-back targets that you know we're interested in? John Joe Kenny was the name for so long, so refused to speak. Jimmy Dunn might come into that conversation as a right-back now. Interested into it to see where we go from here. Evening, Jimmy. Congrats on going full-time, says LA. Just doing a time check. I'm catching up. We're good. Tours of your studio, what a great idea. Paint a line on the floor from the door around the chair and back out. £10 adults, £5 kids. Coach parties, booking advance, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Yeah, now you're talking LA Blades. I think Jamie were more talking about a panoramic little tour of the studio, but if he wants to come and charge, absolutely. I think CW said that Tom Davis will be touch and go for Derby. If not, he said likely available for Portsmouth at home. It's really good news if that's the case, because it looked like a bad injury, didn't it? Jimmy, what plans do you have for your channel going forward now that you're going full time? So there will be more shows, to be honest, Michael. More. What I don't want to do is flood things with too much. So I'm going to trial a new show called The Day After Tuesday. That'll start either next week or maybe the week after, because there'll be a lot of content over the transfer window coming up. So The Day After Tuesday is going to be on that day of the week, obviously the day after Tuesday, because we don't use the W word. And that will be a weekly show that day. But if there's nothing to talk about, it's a trial. So if there's nothing to talk about, we'll scrap it, because I don't ever want to just come on for the sake of coming on. Like I said, there's another thing I'm going to be doing from press conferences, which is hot off the presser. I'll be going live straight after Wilder's press conference and talking about what he said. So yeah, we're going to try different things. There might be, obviously January and the summer will be busy with transfer news, but might be more shorts and stuff like that. I don't know, to be honest. It's an exciting time to think about what we can do. There might also be some events coming up that we might think about doing, so that might be interesting. Ollie Norwood on the score sheet tonight, says Ian. That's good. Just ordered an Ollie Norwood poster from Marty. Jimmy, what do you think about the rumour about Harry Darling? Don't mind it. Don't mind it. I think he's a decent option at this level, Neil. Where did the desk used to be, says Jamie? It was just further back, pal. It was just further back, probably in line with where the arms of the sofa are. And over that way a bit. Ollie Norwood's just rolled back the years and slammed a free kick into the top left. Love that, Bri. Congrats, Jimmy, on going full time, says We Are Blades. Thank you, pal. Jimmy, when will you get an interview with Wilder? Lol, as if. I would love to get an interview with Wilder. I'm working on it, but I've been working on it for 2 years, so fingers crossed it will come at some. He has told me he'll come on. He says, I will do that. I will come on your channel, I promise. All right, we'll see. Apparently, Cov have offered around 4 million now for Grimes. It'd be a good signing money, but he's 4 million. What is he, 29? Are there any players we can steal from Southampton? Cough, Archer, says Pixie. Would love that. Would love that. As you've gone full time, Jim, I mentioned it on your earlier show. Do you get a press accreditation to get into interviews? It's something I'm certainly going to look at. It's exciting to even think about Dublin Blade, to be fair. So I'll certainly look at it. Lampard and Leeds United can't stand each other. They have a history between them. Spygate incident between Bielsa and Lampard. Lampard's derby beating Leeds in the playoffs at Ellen Road when Leeds fell apart. They were all doing this, weren't they? Spygate, yeah, loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was watching Connor fall apart on his channel back then. I didn't have a channel myself, so start thinking of a sister. Thinking of starting a sister Spanish ramble. How about Las Ramblas? Nice. Evening to you, mate. Good luck on your new venture. Nothing. Not that you're going to need it. Thank you, James. Appreciate that, pal. Yes, Coventry City have won 4 in a row and have their eyes on the playoff places, says Michael. Nassar again asking me the same question. Yes, I'm very happy with the Hamza Chowdhury signing. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe, says Dan. Thank you, mate. Good evening, Jimmy. Good luck with your new venture. Not that you need it. Your content is great. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Jimmy, this data-driven approach to signing players for the Blades, is that similar to the algorithms approach that Brighton and Brentford use when recruiting players? It'll be similar. It won't be exactly the same, but we've brought a data company in, I believe, to help us out with the recruitment team. Obviously, we've got Jamie Ireland and can't remember the kid's name. Can't remember the lad's name, but we've got the recruitment team in place that use probably old, for want of a better phrase, older school scouting techniques. So it's going to be a nice blend of both experienced opinion and data. So wasn't Marcelo Bielsa a data-driven manager? Yes, he was, Hilts. He was indeed. I think Campbell will score more goals than Cannon. What do you think, Jimmy? Well, Campbell's already on, 6, I think. So if you're talking about from a standing start, Chris, I think Cannon probably gets more game time. But if you're on about who finishes on more goals, then probably Campbell. Yes, he was, Hilt, says Nige. I am a Tiger, mate. Okay, thank you. Jimmy, is Dave the Nose and the Mountain going to be a big part of your channel going forward? Now you're going full time, says Michael. I've seen how In Good Nick channel has grown from humble beginnings into the Sheffield United way with 19,500. Dave the Nose and Man Mountain can be involved as much or as little as they like. I am indebted to them for committing to do the 3 Mardy Blades when they can. Obviously, they're they've also got young families and they work full time, and I know all about trying to balance everything with that. So they're always welcome. They sometimes join us on the phone-ins when they can as well. Always love hearing their opinion. They're really good mates of mine, so they're more than, and they're very good. And I enjoy listening to their opinions as well. I think we all work really well together. It's a natural chemistry that we've got as the three Mardy Blades, I think, and it's a real pull for Patreons, because I know we've done some on the main channel when it's been a big news day, but going forward, usually you can get to see us every fortnight all together on Patreon. So love being with them. I was going to say working with them, but it's not work, is it? But again, the door's open for them to do as much or as little as they like. Sneak preview, and I don't mean to spoil anything, but Man Mountain has been upgrading his setup. So watch this space. Andrew says, Daniel, at the risk of being held to this, there's a confidence that there'll be at least one in before Derby. Interesting. I thought that might be John Joe Kenny. So moving parts now, isn't it? Been against two signings in my time watching them Blades, Terry Curran and Marlon King. Now there's a guy with a very bad history, and I didn't cheer for any goal he scored. Yeah, Marlon King. You can't. I don't know much about Terry Curran, to be honest, but Marlon King, you can't. There's rare occasions, isn't there, where you just morally you can't back players. I understand that. Why were so-called United fans booing after the Hull match? A step too far for our brilliant team with injury and also young players trying their hardest. We as fans should be proud. We should, and I think those booing will hopefully reflect on that, because when you strip everything back, we've had a great season, haven't we? With very limited resources in certain places, and now we're doing all we can to improve there. So yeah, hopefully there's a bit of perspective from those fans that booed, because I don't think it was justified. Congratulations on the news, mate, says Fairfield. Love the studio. Keep it going, mate. Thank you, pal. LCFC Forever says, Leicester fan here. You lot love a Leicester signing? Yes, we do, pal. Suter, Cannon and Hamza. I think he'll do well for you, and he always gives his all, which is what you want in a player. Best of luck. Thank you, pal. Appreciate that. Thanks for dropping by. Ben says, as I said on the phone the other night, pal, I took a huge gamble nearly 16 years ago and opened my studio, and I've never looked back. Glad you announced it. You've done great, and you'll only go from strength to strength from here. Well done. The Ramble is on the march. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that, pal, and enjoyed our chat the other night. Fairfield says, don't mind the Hamza signing. The lad seems down to earth and switched on. Will give good depth. Being honest, I don't love the darling shouts. Well, I haven't seen enough of him, to be honest. With signing Hamza, loads of Bangladeshi fans will start supporting Sheffield United now, says LCFC Forever. Well, people are actually... I know what you're saying in terms of supporting, but people were saying, does it give us access into another market, which might be good, you know, for global growth and stuff like that? I think that only really sort of comes into play if you're in the Premier League, to be honest. And he's playing an active part, which he clearly didn't for you. Martin says, evening, Jimmy. Long live the Ramble. Congrats. Brilliant content as always. Thank you, pal. I blagged a payroll company for the tickets, Jimmy. Either the seats were small or I've grown. Brilliant show, buddy. Cheers, Chris. Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. Renegade says, forget who we're linked with. Or would you sign at centre half if we threw around 5 million at it? Oh. Can I say Joe Worrell? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't really got time to be sort of dallying on it either, but I'll give it some thought, Renegade. I'll give it some thought. I don't want another centre-back coming in to play right back, says Dave the Nose. After I've just been bigging him up, he completely disagrees with me on stream. I think Alfie's biggest challenge has been what to do in that final third, because he's not experienced at it. Can still see John Joe Kenny happening last minute. Me too, pal. Me too. Might have to quit my job now too. You've gone full time, says Andrew. 24-hour round-the-clock content. I'm game. I don't know about that, mate. I think Mrs. Ramble might be game to get rid of me for a bit, but... yeah, you'll see a bit more of me, I think. Got a new sofa, Jim, says Finlay. No, it's been in the studio for a while. Excuse me. As I say, KC sofas. If you want your personalised football club sofas, obviously we've got Leicester fans in here, Leeds fans, Sunderland fans, Burnley fans that join us now. But yeah, they do personalised sofas, and very kindly gifted this to us because he's a Sheffield United fan and wanted to help the studio, and obviously gets a nice little plug out of it too. So go and show him some love for a local business. In my experience, good strikers and a solid midfield make it easier for the back four. Hopefully this is what will happen now, says John. Buzzing for you, Jimmy. Congratulations on going full time with the channel. Up the blades, up the ramble. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it, mate. Milan Van Uwick says, Finley, that's the third Van Uwick shout tonight. Fawa News is very, very legal streaming service with every single game and all Sheffield United games. Another winky face, which I'm not going to believe. Cole says, congrats, Jim. What will this entail for your day-to-day life, if you don't mind me asking, as you'll have more time to focus on the ramble? What are you hoping to achieve in the near future with it? So what I would ask of people is, I'm certainly not going to be spamming people to sign up to Patreon and do this and that. Obviously, if anybody wants extra content and likes stuff like the 3 Mardy Blades that we offer behind the Patreon and stuff like that, then that is very much appreciated, but not expected. I have very generous donations from people who are comfortable doing that. What I would say is, please don't. I don't want people to get frustrated with, like at the beginning of the ramble, and I'm not gonna force this at all, but I have like sponsors here, obviously, because these support me and these allow me to go full time. I don't want people to think I'm just going to constantly push things, because I won't. But firstly, I don't align the channel with anybody that I don't think is reputable or very good at what they do. And secondly, obviously, I'm going to keep the ads at the beginning of the ramble, because I don't want to, be stopping it all the way through and stuff. But I don't want people to get, I'm conscious that I don't want people to get frustrated with me getting sponsors on board. I don't want it to affect the viewing experience, but I also want people to acknowledge that it's got to be part of me being a full-time content creator now. So that'll be a part of it too. I'm going to be looking at, well, I'll be treating it as a day job, Cole, to be honest. And I will be doing some of the boring stuff that you don't see behind the scenes. So I will be working on my technical skill set. I'll be networking an awful lot more, I think, which is something that I've become a lot more confident with. I'm working on a couple of side projects, which I would really like to announce in the next few weeks, which are very exciting. There's all sorts of things coming up. Obviously, there's a couple of new shows that I'm talking about. One will be straight after press conferences and not be a huge sort of uptake in work, or I won't be spamming with content, if you like. The other will be the Wednesday show, and I said the word, but the day after Tuesday it's going to be called. So we'll be involving more content. So there's all sorts of things that we can consider, and I'm just can't wait to dive head first into it, to be honest. Where's the Prince Abdullah interview? It's coming, pal. It's coming. Can the man have a rest? Can the man have a little break? He's had a very stressful time over the last few years. He's enjoying a little bit of a rest at the moment. Jimmy, what a great leap forward, says Paul. All the best. Congrats on full time. Thank you, pal. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really happy and proud of you, Jim, as most of us are. Hope this brings you and the Blades prosperity and a league title. Yes, so do I, pal. That would be great. That would be great. Will anyone ever sit on the sofa? Are you going to make use of it on the channel? Well, somebody suggested already that Andy the Blade sits there for his watch along, so he may well do that if he fancies it. Up the Blades, up the ramble, up behind the ramble, like and subscribe. Still miss the sage green garden fence. That's long gone, Paul. She's painted over that some time ago. Chowdhury bringing the Bangladeshi fans. Chileans versus Bangladeshis is going to be a classic, says Jamie. Remember a certain right back for Derby doing the goggles celebration when Derby beat Leeds? If you know, you know. Yes, I do too. Yeah. Yeah, good point, that, actually, Harry. How do you feel about Hamza? Oh, come on, Jamie, pack it in. Will Riley, or the woman who did the transfer shorts last year, return? I don't close the door on anything, but also at the same time, they've got their own things to do. So I don't want to, I'll struggle to pay anybody to do stuff at the moment, just due to the situation that I'm in. So anything they would be doing would be because they want to do it. So Hope, who did a lot of work with us early on and just trialed something, I liked what she gave us. It was something completely different, and I'm open to working with her again, definitely. But I think it just sort of, she's got a very busy life, to be honest. So I'm happy to speak to her about it. Riley, I know, is busy himself he does his own blogs now as well. So all the best to him with that. I really enjoyed working with him as well. So I'm open to anything, Jamie, honestly, in terms of improving the content. I think the beauty of having Behind the Ramble is if we're not sure about a bit of content, like I wasn't sure on how rival watch-alongs would go. So I put them on Behind the Ramble, and they're flying, to be honest. So that could be something that moves to the main channel eventually, but it's also doing good numbers for the Behind the Ramble channel, which I'm obviously hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers, which means we can monetize that channel, which means it's more a surety for me staying full-time streaming. So if you're not already, please go and subscribe over at Behind the Ramble. That would be appreciated too. Evening, pal, says Liam. Hope you're well. Kenny is not coming, apparently. I would like us to go for Milan Van Ewing. 4th shout of the night from Coventry. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Please like and subscribe. Mark says, Jimmy, in the future, maybe you could have a mobile setup for away games. There's been some good suggestions. Lee put a really good suggestion in about getting some pre-match predictions from Ramblers and just throwing them up or putting them in as part of 90 after 90 while we're in the pub before games. So that might be something we'll look at. Leicester signings or Cov signings. Who do United prefer? They've both done well for us, aren't they, to be fair? English is not my first language. Take 2. Jimmy, would you ever go down the road of having a mobile setup for away games? Yeah, sorry, same man who commented it. Yes, yeah, I don't know if that's plausible. And I don't go away currently. That may change now. The trade-off was always that, obviously, I spend 40 hours of work a week at work, then I do the Ramble, and then I have time for my family, and I have to balance everything out. Well, now the Ramble is the 30 to 40 hour work week, and that'll include Saturdays and stuff like that when I'm getting footage. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I like the format currently where I attend home games 90 after 90 afterwards, and I do watch-alongs for the away games because the watch-alongs are very well attended. But also, I love being at the games, and I don't get to many away games now. So likely answer is it'll depend on Mrs. Ramble, to be honest. I think the biggest signing so far is Wilder extension, as he is the Messiah and the man to take us where we want to be. Wish we had stayed in for Grimes as well, as he looks to be off to Cov now, but oh well. Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he, Cole? And Wilder's a great signing. Campbell, Cannon or Campbell up front for Saturday. I personally have Campbell. Bladen, I'm doing a warm-up tomorrow, so I haven't even thought about it yet, but I will do. Opinion on the Harry Darling rumours. I think he's a cracking chap. Yes, I think he's absolutely spiffing, Cole. Absolutely spiffing. 6K subscribers. Oh, yeah. So David is going to come on one of our calling shows when we hit 6K. So help us get to that. That's David's personal target for us all. Thank you, pal. Don't worry, Fairfield. It's not you they're shouting Darling at. Chris says, Jimmy, and in good Nick on a watch-along. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not against that at all. We've worked together in the past. I know people think there's a rivalry. I think it's what I would say between the two channels is it's healthy competition. I always say this, but I don't want people to get the wrong impression. There's room for both. I don't like it when we're on at the same time. I know Nick definitely don't like it when we're on at the same time. Sometimes it's unavoidable, particularly now that this is going to be my livelihood. I can't wait for him to do a match reaction and then me jump on straight after. I might have to do what's best for our channel sometimes because that's the way it has to be. But having said that, it don't mean we're not mates. It don't mean we don't pick up the phone. Obviously he's just had a new child and I've congratulated him and I get on great with Nick. There's no animosity there. And I would love to do a bit more work together with him. As and when he's ready, if he wants to do it, he's always welcome on the Ramble. Tariq Lamptey says, Aaron, that'd be a good shout, actually. I don't know what he's doing at the moment. Let's go for Sergio Ramos and Pepe. They'll still do a job, says Nige. Not all signings from Leicester work out. Who was that shot fullback we had off them last season? Oh, yeah, that's a good point. He's just been linked with a move to Germany for 5 million quid, hasn't he? Luke Thomas, something like that. You should have a different Blades fans on for the sofa for the watch along up the Blades, up the Ramble. We talked about that, Jace, being a Platinum Rambler exclusive sort of part of the offering. If they can get to Wakey, they are more than welcome to come and sit on this beautiful sofa of ours. Would love a live stream from the training ground gates, says Andrew. Motson style in the snow. Jord Motson's the man for that, then, isn't he? Get like on transfer deadline day, trying to get the players to stop for comical interviews and opinions. Love that. That's a great idea, Andrew. Next, Jimmy will be on the road doing road shows in his Blades Ramble van. Blades Ramble coach, Blades Ramble private jet, helicopter. Nice. Jace says, oh, I'm just about 5 minutes behind on comments now, so we're just wrapping up. I know I've been ages. Nearly 1,000 people in here. Thank you. Jace says, I don't think it was the Blades booing. I believe it was Hull fans chanting their manager's name. Oh, maybe so. That's better than it. As an idea, Jimmy, some pre-recorded interviews from people that work at Bramall Lane, such as John Garrett, who does the history of the club. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Don't mind any of that. Cole says, wonder if we could get Wilder on at some point. Would love his view on us at the minute and maybe past success under him. Always good to get his opinion of the person, get the opinion of the person at the helm and think you're the right host. Up the Blades. Thank you, Cole. Watch this space, pal. Hopefully we can make that happen. Going forward, would you do grassroots football sponsorship? Good way of you getting more people following and out there. I'm a manager of a mixed ability under 13s team. As in like us to sponsor them. Once we become more established, absolutely, I would love to sort of give back to the local community. That's what it's about, isn't it? That's what companies are doing for me now. I think we're in the early stages of establishing ourselves. But once established, absolutely, Tom. And best of luck with the team. Blades Ramble, Airways, the world is your oyster, says Mark. Watching back at the minute has missed the first part. Exciting times ahead for all, especially you now. Jim Bob says, Cole, up the Blades. Thank you, pal. Lamptey is a shout, says Dave the Nose. He likes that one. Leicester after him, though, apparently. Which division does he want to play in next year, Dave the Nose? Who knows? If he, you know, it'd be a loan money Lamptey, I suppose. The quest for 6,000. Yes, nice, nice. Dublin Blade. Ian Turner says, great news for Blades on all fronts. Chowdhury and Wilder new contract and Jimmy going full-time. Can't wait for the new content. Up the Blades, up behind the Ramble. Up the Blades, full-time Ramble. Like and subscribe. How are you going to get tickets for away games? How many loyalty points you got, Jimmy? Not enough, Kev. You're right. You're right. So I won't, will I? I won't. Yeah. Why did you stop me at first hurdle, Kev? Do you know what I mean? Why don't you just squash all my plans? I'm off back to work tomorrow. I'm kidding. Litana says, oh, wait, are we live? I thought I was watching the playback. Hey, up Ramble, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Keep up the great work, Jimmy. Lad, oh. Hey, up, pal. It's first comment, I think. First time commenting. Thank you for that. What we're going to do about the poor corners that we keep taking, such a waste of opportunities. Yes, Matthew, we do need to talk about that. Not now, probably. I've been going an hour and 36 minutes. But poor corners, poor attacking corners, relying on the odd one for defensive corners. I think set pieces in general we need to work on. How much does it cost to be a Rambler, says Mark? So it's £5 to become a Rambler on the Platinum and get into our Platinum, our Rambler WhatsApp group. To be a Platinum Rambler, it's £10 with more benefits as you go up through the tiers. So you can be a Ramble supporter on YouTube, which is £3, and that gets you into a WhatsApp group also. But there's that's access, that's showing support for the Ramble and access to a WhatsApp group. The next tier is like early access and other things like that, other benefits that you'll see on Patreon. And then the Platinum Ramble is the top tier. So it's 3, 5, and 10. Can we get Michael Cooper on here, Jimmy? After all, we played a big part in getting him. Action location, if we can, then get him on. Get him on. He's on the wall for a reason. What a boy. What a boy. Brilliant stuff, mate, says Tom. I'd love it. I'd love you on our team shirts at some. So would I, Park. Can you imagine? He's absolutely balmy to think. Lamptey's one of the fastest right backs I've ever watched, says Rye. What a player he'd be for us. That's it now. Rye's on the Lamptey train. He'll be obsessing over it for the next 3 days. I know you now, Rye. I know you, pal. Thanks for the show tonight, Jimmy. Cracking as usual, says Bry. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. Like and subscribe. Thank you to everybody that's joined me tonight. That was the last comment. And thank you to everyone that's made this possible. We've got Hamza Chowdhury in, which was the original point in setting up the stream, I suppose. Then Wilder signed his new contract, and obviously there's been a lot of lovely comments about my news today as well. If you've not seen that that Ramble already, I released a Ramble earlier in the day, so if you want to go and give that a watch, if you haven't already, I would much appreciate it. Thank you again for everyone's ongoing support. You'll be seeing a lot more of this face going forward. Apologies for that, I suppose. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. All that blade!